Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Access India radio show. And it is our great pleasure to welcome Shivam, Aradhna, and Sangeeta on the show.
Welcome, everyone.
And so, Smriti and I were actually having a chat recently after the last month's radio call, and we were like, "What should we do next month?" We were asking each other questions, and we were like, "What do you think India is actually asking for? What can we contribute? What is possible? What would India actually like? What would the radio show like?" And then we came up with this idea of hosting a clarity night and inviting all you beautiful beings on here to ask whatever you would like to, and have absolutely phenomenal and potent facilitators online today to answer every single query and every single question that you have on here.
That's superb. I'm not able to see if everyone is logged in. I think I'm having some technical issues. So, Isha, if you can see everyone, if
Yes.
you could just continue with it. Meanwhile, I'll try and join in with my
Okay.
computer,
Okay,
which is
sure.
still taking a little time. So, I really cannot see anyone there except
Okay.
for the person speaking.
Okay. So you see me.
I just see you.
That's awesome. Okay. So we did have someone who, and guys, get ready with your questions, whatever you would like to talk about. When we had asked, when we were talking to Shivam, Aradhna, and Sangi, we asked them if there was something specific they would like to talk about, and they all have lots of information to give you. But if you'd like to ask a question, just unmute yourselves, type it in the chat, and all questions shall be answered. So do you guys want to introduce yourselves before we start?
Yeah, and hello, I'm Payal, and I have come to Bharti.
Hi, Payal.
Hi, and it's been amazing to join Access. It has really benefited me in lots of ways. It's been miraculous, and I've been following it sincerely to the best of my capacities. At times when I'm low, so I follow that, and it works.
That's
So
awesome.
I look forward. Yeah.
That's amazing. We're happy to have you here. How did we get so
Yeah,
lucky?
I look forward.
Amazing. I'd love to ask Shivam to start with introducing herself, and then we can ask Aradhna and Sangi to tell us more about themselves.
Hi.
I will just start with putting, guys, if you can just put yourselves on mute, and when you'd like to ask a question, just go ahead and unmute yourselves, please.
Or maybe you could mute everyone.
I am.
And then if people,
I
okay,
am.
good. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm the one who's going first about introducing.
You good? Go ahead.
So hi everyone, and it's really an honor and a privilege to be here with everybody. Who am I? I think that's really a very long conversation, and most of the times I'm myself curious about who I am. But my name is Shivam Saxena, and I am one of the, I have the honor to be part of this whole certified facilitators group within India and with Access, where we are really there to create something and facilitate people into creating a life and the world that works for us. And so really a hey and a shout out to everybody who's looking for a different possibility. And yeah, that's who I am, and happy to be here.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Be honored. Aradhna, do you want to introduce yourself next?
Sure. Thank you, first of all, to you and Smriti for having me over and such a beautiful space. Thank you for offering. Thank you for letting me be with all these lovely beings here. And I'm Aradhna Tiwari. I'm also part of this amazing certified group of India as well as worldwide. So, and yes, I'm also, as Shivam rightly said, that we are here a part of contributing on this planet. A little more consciousness, awareness, and whatever we can contribute as us, we are here to do that. And I love this. This is fun for me. This is joy for me. More than anything, I don't think I can do anything and ask anybody to do anything ever. But it's just that if I can facilitate through whatever I say and what I know, I love to do that. And I just adore my work. And I'll be happy to have your questions, and that'll be fun. Let's have more fun together. Thank you.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Sangeeta?
Hi guys, thank you so much Smriti and Isha for having me over. And like Aradhana and Shivam rightly said, that we are so lucky to be part of this certified facilitator family, and we are so lucky to do something that we love, and we get to change, and that change ripples out to a change that everybody around us can choose, and everybody's choosing greater. And that just means that we have more people choosing consciousness, and that just contributes to having a more conscious planet, and all while having fun. How does it get any better than that, right? So I've been an Access Consciousness Facilitator for 4 years now, and I've been with Access for 5 years. My whole life has changed, and I can't wait to see what else is possible and how much greater it can get. Not just for me, but for everybody that I touch. And I think for everybody that Shivam touches and Aradhana touches and all the facilitator touch, something shifts, which is why we have so many people on this call today. How does it get any better than this?
And we love to touch.
Yeah, we love to be touched. We love your touch too.
I just want to say something. I have had the privilege to be around you guys for, I think, a few years now. And I have learned so much just being around you guys and seeing you. Sometimes, of course, talking, being facilitated creates so much. But just sometimes if you just look at the person, you just energetically get a sense of their being. So much can start shifting in your world. And for me, each one of you have contributed in your own way. And I just really want to thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Isha.
For being an inspiration that you are and inspiring so many of us to choose so much greater.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. With that, do you guys want to start talking first, or should we start taking questions up?
I think let's get started with Aradhana. Finally, I'm on board time. Let's get started with Aradhana. So today, the topic that Aradhana would be speaking about would be money. So what can you contribute, Aradhana, and what is your awareness around money, and how do you use that to create your life, and how do you create money, and whatever information
I just be me, and I create money. I walk money, I talk money, I be money.
Mm-hmm. I can vouch for that.
So for me, guys, it's amazing how my journey with an Access started, and to get the point of view around money was like weird for me. That really, really we have to have a workshop around money and talk about money. That's so easy. And that's when for the first time, I remember I attended a workshop, and I was sitting and listening to everyone, and I was like, wow, I just caught up in the class, and it was with Max, I guess, and it was like, is it that people are using money as a reason of not choosing consciousness? It's so simple. And everything around you is money. So, and so for me, like, I have always followed my heart. I've always followed my joy, and I've just energetically asked, even before Access. I think I just asked money. I just saw something and then said, I wish I had it. It's like, I didn't even have to say I wish I had. It was that was like having it. And I have created that from where to where, yes. It's like, people have defined money as a much bigger, and outer source, and they've forgotten the source of money is them. So somebody this morning actually messaged me to ask that, can you tell me how to earn more money? And that was funny. In my life, I was like, just be. I mean, do not do anything to earn money. Do for joy, do for fun, whatever feels fun and joy to you, and money just follows. I know it sounds very like, okay, how is that simple? We know we have to pay the bills, we have to do that. But trust me. Play with the day, play with a week, and you will just have it. It's just ask and trust that you have. It's like how money workbook in Access says that what if you breathe in like air and now you breathe in money and everybody solidifies? That was a big question in my world. That I'm like, yeah, how does that sound? How is breathing money? And I was on money class with Dane this time, and it was like my aha moment. I think everything is money. What I breathe is money. Even right now when I'm talking on this platform, it's money for me. And I was talking to all my facilitator friends that I have to just sit in each Access class, and that creates money for me. It's just being that, and those aha moments of acknowledgement creates money in my life. Wonder what energetically right now I can contribute to each of your world who are listening now and later to have that with total ease. And everything that doesn't allow, I destroy and uncreate all. Right and wrong, good and bad, what for, nasha, was and beyond. So, I mean, I can keep going on with it unless you guys have a specific question. I would love to take that.
So we've already typed in. We've asked people to ask the questions. They're most welcome to unmute themselves also and ask. So guys, feel free to go ahead and ask questions, whatever you have to Aradhna. And otherwise, Aradhna, you can speak on the topic, whatever other awareness you have.
My question to you, all of you, is what have you defined money as that it isn't? So there is a lot of definitions that we've been used to buy from our parents, from our family, from everyone, from wherever we grew. So even if every day, if you start if you're stuck in a position where, you don't have money and, like where to earn money, what for in 2 minutes you actually sit down and think there's no money in your life, like what Modi did in a night. And truly, did you even had any money that night? And the next morning, did your life even stop? So are you willing to be that energy? It's just the willingness of having no money. And it was another example I love Money Workbook. And I would always suggest you guys to do, because I had that book forever and it kept lying on my table. I'm like, I wonder why I do have to do Money Workbook. And one day I'm like, let me just read through it. And I just read, and it's like, it's such a beautiful book. It has so much. I think it's another Granth of Access that one should read. It has so much of information flowing in. And that's where one of the places, Rasputin asks Gary that, do you think would you die with your parents? And the Gary says that, what if I don't give food to my kids? So he said, has that ever happened? He says, no, but once it did happen, and my father had to come and give the money for it. And then Gary the Rasputin, did they die? Did you not create that money too? So, but we think that unless the money has to come in a format where I am earning, I'm doing a job, and that I earn at the end of the month or through my business, that is the only creation of money. But asking his dad, and his dad coming over and, giving that food or money for the food was also a creation of money. So, it's an amazing question if you ask, what have you defined your money as, and what have you defined creation of money as? And everything that is what you destroy and uncreate all. Right and wrong, good and bad, what for, nasha, boys and beyonds. And whose lies, what lies, and how many lies are you buying to create money in your life? Everything that is can be destroyed and uncreate all. Right and wrong, good and bad, what for, nasha, boys and beyonds. And I can vouch, even if you do this one clearing for like next 1 month, you are guaranteed your bank balances are going double, triple. So whose lies, what lies, and how many lies are you buying to create money in your life? And everything that is what you destroy and uncreate all. Right and wrong, good and bad, what for, nasha, boys and beyonds. And another question is, whose lies, what lies, and how many lies have you bought as a creation of money? Everything that is what you destroy and uncreate all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pock, on the boys and beyonds. What if laughing joyfully? I mean, if this planet was built on the day one and you were here, you even required money. So money was only brought in by humans, and that is for the convenience of, their capacities which they had. When we had the civilization thing, it was just that, everybody had the capacities of doing different stuff, and somebody could, put fire, somebody could get the wood from the jungle, somebody could do a shoot, and it was a different work everybody was mastering at, and they were what they were doing. And over the period, it was just the barter system, and then to create that ease in the barter, the coins and everything was created. It wasn't there. You were not working for that. And where have you forgotten that that is what you are? Your capacities created money then also. And whoever on this planet actually made money greater than us can be destroyed and uncreate that for all eternity. And everything that doesn't allow can be destroyed and uncreate all. Right and wrong, good and bad, for culture, person beyond. So as I again said, that what if you imagine your world, that if you don't have any money today, and how much clothes do you wear? I know I'm going from here to there, but it's like, just want to share everything with you. It's like, even on the trek, when I was like, I've been trekking these days. So on the trek, we are going on the 5 days where you don't need to change your clothes. You're in the same clothes every day. You're just trekking, you're eating, and that's it. And that also is not like, and what was I owning at that point of time was only clothes I was wearing and the food I was eating. And I was more joyful ever than coming and putting in my palate. It's like, it's the mind conditioning that we have created, and we have created that joy outside us. If you start having that joy within and enjoy that, it would be like totally shifting your reality. You have to just start acknowledging, and that you are money, not anything outside you is money. So again, everything, whatever you define money as, can destroy and uncreate all, guys. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pock, all nature, boys and girls. What I can perceive right now is like, everybody's like, we get these talks. We totally get these talks. But that doesn't happen practically. In practical, I do not have money. So what if you give up that point of view, that in practicality, you don't have money? So this is a point of view you're holding in your back of the mind and somewhere operating with that. And that's what you're creating in your life. Everybody, whoever in the deepest molecule is holding this point of view, that money isn't easy, as what Aradhana says, would you destroy and uncreate all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pock, all nature, boys and beyond.
It's surprising.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's surprising that you're talking about the same thing. We have a question on similar lines from KG. Okay. I've seen that I have created money whenever I'd like to have it. However, I tend to create the unease around money when I think about it. Can you speak more on that?
So in Access, we call thinking is thinking. So actually, are you creating money when you're thinking? So how, there's an easy way to it. So what if you can ask your thinking to create money for you from now onwards? Everywhere I'm thinking and every thought I'm creating, what if that starts creating and contributing to money? And everything that doesn't allow, but you destroy and uncreate. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pock, all nature, birds and beyond. What if you can just be so present with your thinking? You create when you really want to create. The truth, do you really want to create more? So can you just see your world where you are in the allowance of yourself creating when you're joyful about it? But the thinking is that you're automatically stopping yourself. So what is the value of thinking at that point of time? What is the value? Whose thinking are you being? Who does it belong to? That's another amazing tool from Access. Who does it belong to? And honestly, for me, this tool is amazing because I get that who does it belong to, but it is not that you always pick up from who does it belong to as like from everybody's head. You only pick up what is resonating with you. So what have you picked it for? that you're not acknowledging? What if you just acknowledge it and then let it go? And be grateful for people who have actually contributed for you to pick it up also. So it's like, okay, if it's just staying in your heart, and as somebody very beautifully today put one of the group, if it's not going, it's not yours. So keep asking and then keep sending. And if you still have it, then just be present with it. Where did I pick it? Whose lies am I picking? What lies am I picking? And actually, when you're even asking questions, to my knowledge, you're still thinking. So you don't even have to ask the question. You have to just be with it. Wow. Yeah, I'm thinking. Interesting. An interesting point of view. I have this point of view that I'm thinking. So it's like, maybe that time you just need that, KG, you just need that relaxation to be. You need off from money. And what if your relaxation is also money? What if your thinking is also money? For me, everything is money. Even thinking is money. So wherever you separating thinking from you can be destroyed and get that too. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, cock, and both in yours. So what, it's like, oh, am I thinking? That also we start making as a wrongness. What if you just stop? Okay, I'm thinking, let me think. If it's working, go on. If it doesn't, stop. Hope that clears for you, KG.
Yes, that's, sorry, KG can answer if she wants to right now.
She said yes.
Okay, so there's one more question, that is, what is being money?
What is being money?
Yeah, so Bhavna wants to know that.
Who wants to know that? Can I have the name?
Bhavna Kothari.
Bhavna. So what is it to you, Bhavna? See, if I'll define what money is for me everything is money. Being money is like just being happy, joyful. Is it that for you? What is money in your reality? Again, I think that energy still is not dissipated of what have you defined money as, that it is. And if you actually work on it, it'll change. So what if you can be actually in this question? For me, I can share what it is. For me, it's like total joy. It's like if I desire anything on this planet, that's when I've taken the shape of a body and I'm being in this body and I'm embodied in this body to have any and everything I desire. So money will follow. So am I desiring it? Am I joyful about it? Am I passionate about it? It's like excitement of me. So for me, from my childhood until now, I never know where money comes from. I was married for 3.5 years and I did not know what my husband does. Like where one fine day I get up and ask my husband, after 3.5 years, what do you do? And he like looks at me like, excuse me? I think I don't have a point of view. I mean, I am getting money. I'm doing what I have to do. I really do not know what. In fact, even today, like half the time I don't even know where the money comes from. But it comes. And I know it will come even if I die. I will die as money. I will live as money. So I have never made money bigger and greater for me. Being money is joy to me. Being acknowledging, being grateful is money for me. Wonder what is that for you? Yeah.
Wow. That was awesome.
Awesome. Thank you. Any more? Or do you guys want to?
Yes, I know someone had raised their hand up, but they've put their hand down now. So if you'd like to ask a question.
We shifted them.
So if you'd like to ask a question, go ahead and type it in.
It's funny how I sense that Zoom blank moment has come in everybody's head. So
everyone's fine.
Yeah, everywhere we have blanked out. Can we choose to step beyond it and receive the money which is coming your way? You know, an example I would share, like today I was about to be here on this platform, and how much money, how much did I shop? How much did I laugh today wasn't funny. Like I kept shopping and shopping and shopping, and I was like, wow, universe is really great. I'm so grateful. I'm really getting yummy clothes today. I'm like, I watched a beautiful movie. I laughed. I had a fun time. For me, that everything has made zillions of money in my account all day. And I'm acknowledging it. And I'll receive it whenever I need it to spend it. Right? Wherever you're not willing to have that, can we destroy and uncreate that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pock, all was and beyond. And at the same time, I was invited for my private sessions. There were more classes which showed up today. See, you guys created so much money in my world. And I'm so grateful to each of you. Thank you. That is all money.
Bhavna is asking another question. She's saying, you said you have to be money. What does that mean?
Okay. To be money is like, how do you breathe? As like you breathe, do you even think how do you have to breathe? Exactly the same way you have to be money. You don't have to think. Do you even think to get up in the morning and how to have water or breathe? It's as simple. I know it's easier, even if I say that'll be my point of view because that's I got it. And there's a like amazing thing I actually learned from Shannon. Shannon is Gary Douglas' daughter, the founder of Access Consciousness. She's amazing. She's awesome with herself. So I really loved with her, like I totally get that we as facilitators give meaning to your words and stuff. And then you make them also very significant in your life. That's my gift to you guys, that what if you start playing with every question? So it's like, what is receiving for you? What is being means in your world? It was like, also like, I don't know if you guys, anybody of you here, Sadhguru. So he was like at the age of 4, he said that, he used to pick up everything. Okay, people are saying this is water, but like I sat down for days and looked at it and, like, okay, what is it that for me? Maybe I do not have to name it as water. I don't have to name it as a flower. I might name it as something different. So, but that's a gift you are. That's how you perceive it. So what if you can, I can tell you how just like breathing is, and I can give you examples, but still you might not get it. So what if you start asking and be willing to receive it? So whatever is not working in your life, actually, if you just be with it, be means you just be present and looking at it. And no thought around it. That's being for me. For me, it's like, okay, if I'm looking at you, if I'm looking at Isha right now, I'll just keep looking at Isha. I have no thoughts, no coming in and no coming out. It's just being. And I'm like, okay, my barrier's down here, and I receive every information about her. And any word that comes to me becomes a download for me. And that's being with me, and that's receiving of the information for me. So wonder what will that contribute in your world? What if you also just be? Just look at it and just be. That's being for me. Play with it and see what is that for you in your world. Don't buy Aradhana's definition. Take my energy and have the money. Rest you figure out on your own. You are here to explore the world. Explore it, guys. You have it in you.
One quick question, Aradhana. Somebody just asked, what is untaxing and what really happens when you untax? And after this question, we'll move on to the next facilitator. So just what is your awareness around untaxing?
I didn't get what exactly that means in untaxing in your world. Like, are you relating it to actually the tax, or are you asking for untaxing in your world, like relaxing or whatever it is? Whosoever asked that question, can I have more clarity? In what context do you want that untaxed? What is in your world?
So, is that Vasudha? Would you like to answer?
And everything that brought up for everyone can be destroyed and get all. Right, now, good and bad, pot, pop, all was and beyond. So everybody's zones went different worlds of taxes. Some is untaxing here, some is trying to figure out here, can we pot and pop all that and have more clarity on it.
I guess she's not speaking. What she really desires to know is about not paying taxes. Is that what it is? I think.
Yeah, it's a very mixed energy. Anyway.
Yeah, untaxed.
So for me, yeah. So it's like also, so if it's about that, about not having, not paying taxes, so where are you not willing to acknowledge that you can create money in your way? It's like, I can only have, so it's if I go on the road and I give a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci bag to a person on the road, they probably might not be able to receive it because they do not even know. exactly here, if you like saying that I don't want to pay tax, so you are only limiting your reality to a smaller world, and you're not even aware of the bigger taxes. At the same time, you want to have a life of a millionaire. How you are in a complex world already, and you are mixing two energies there. So you'll have to choose. What if you're okay to pay? I mean, I would like to be the most paid person, tax-paying person in the world. I'm willing to be. It's like, it's like another example I'll give you is like if you have a jewelry, if you have you know how you used to see the kings, and kings used to pick up the jewelry and just give it away. So what if you can be that energy, and I can see Sunena right there, and I'm picking her energy probably, and it's like funny. It's like, so what if you can, like, if somebody comes to me, oh, why don't you return gifts as solitaires? Why not? I'm willing to have that, to give that. So the idea is that I have everything. And I believe that every penny on this planet is mine. So if there's 100 rupees on this planet, in the universe, they belong to me, and I have it all. So when I have it all, then there's no dearth of not having it. So I would love to have the most luxury available in this universe. To have that, I have to be paying. If that is what is required in this reality, I'm willing to pay with that. So what have you defined? And there's a lot of horror and there's a lot of scare around taxes. And because they think I don't think the taxes, the problem with people of paying money is a scare of being putting behind the bars, or what would they do, or what the police would do. So there's a lot of mixed energies which I sense right now also. So can we destroy and uncreate that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pork, on share, birth and beyond. What if not giving taxes is also not right or wrong, and giving taxes is also not right and wrong? It's what creates more. Would you like to be introduced to a different world where you can actually move with total ease and be the kings of your lives and the queens and the maharanis of your life? Just be that I can afford anything, I can give anything. And if you have that willing energy, that's when the universe says, oh, you need money here, you have more of it. So never stop. Never asking the money to stop if you're not willing to pay for taxes or anything for that matter. Even sometimes, you're very willing to be having fun and joy with your family. And suddenly if anybody asks you, can you just give me 50,000 or a lakh rupees just for fun? And your world contracts. What is that? That is not paying taxes, but it still is there. So wherever you've already concluded in your words that you can't make enough money and money is bigger or greater than you, would you destroy and uncreate? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pork, on words and beyonds. You are the source. Money is not the source. You are the source of joy. You are the source of money. You are the source of everything outside you. Do not forget that, guys. Be the source, be the change, and have the fun. Thank you. Hope that helps. So,
thank you so much. That was super fun.
That was awesome. Thank you.
So we move on to the next guest of the evening, Shivam. Hi, Shivam.
Hi. So, wow, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much, Aradhana. I was like, yes, she could just go on talking. I could give her my time too. That was amazing.
We have a lot of time, and sometimes.
Thank you, Shivam.
Sometimes the meetings do extend, so it's okay. We have enough time for everyone. So, what would you like to speak about? I know the topic is abuse. So, what is your awareness around abuse, and what would you like to contribute? And everyone, just feel free to type in your messages and questions, and you can also unmute yourself and ask a question directly. That's also okay. So, yeah, over to you, Shivam.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I think it's just so strange. Like it sounds very disconnected in a way. Like we just had someone speak about money, and then now we're talking about abuse and things. But everything that Aradhana was talking about, it just made me think about or look at everywhere we are kind of going in a space where we are not being our potency with money, with anything for that matter. We actually are inviting, or we are kind of perpetrating, a level of abuse in our world. And so what is abuse really? And what is abuse to you? We keep hearing about that. We have, and sometimes we are told, for instance, in my life, there was a lot that was happening. And then later on, I was told, wow, do you recognize that's abuse? And so then I spent a lot of time after that going into, oh God, I have faced this kind of abuse, and I have to be able to, heal myself and fix myself. And I went from pillar to post about how do I sort this out in my life? I don't think I can go any further until I heal this abuse story in my life. And and I just recently did this abuse class, that Gary and Dane facilitated about, I think in last week of February. Highly recommend that to everyone. I even told some of my friends, like, look, if you don't have to, if you think it's about the money and you don't have money to buy that recordings of that class, like, don't eat a meal, skip a meal a day for 6 months if you have to, but you really, and so I really recommend that to all of you. And I think for me, the most beautiful realization around abuse was that anytime you step away from, who you truly be, you are doing a little bit of abuse in your world already. And anytime you are like, you have to go into a story of protecting yourself, or like how Aradhana was talking about money, like anytime you go into that, oh, I have to go pay my taxes, I have to go give money to someone, you go into a lack as if there is something less. So would you really choose a level of lack, or would you actually, when you're truly being you have access to everything, and you are being everything. So anytime you kind of shift from that, I think somewhere we are kind of buying the lies of abuse. And it is sort of lies of abuse because, when did we actually start operating and buying that we need protection, that we need money, that we need health, that we need someone in our life? Every time we go into a space of need, we're buying a lie, which is perpetrating already abuse in our world. So what is abuse to all of you guys? What can I help you with?
It's interesting, but we have two people asking about gaslighting. One wants to know about subtle abuse, something like gaslighting. And the second one is asking, KG, is asking, Shivam, can you please talk about gaslighting parents?
Okay. So yeah, subtle abuse. Most of the times abuse is a little bit of, there is a subtlety in abuse. So where are you unwilling to be present and aware to any of the subtlest energies on the planet? Where have you decided, where are you making yourself so solid that you are cutting off your awareness of subtle energies of abuse or of anything? And then one of the things about abuse is that the second you go into wrongness of it, you are buying abuse. It's really about what if you could become aware of it, and that's what it is about gaslighting. Gaslighting parents. Are you talking about parents who gaslight, or trying to gaslight the parents?
I guess she's talking about parents gaslighting her. Yeah.
Okay, so parents gaslighting. So what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is someone when you are kind of making someone source of you, right? Source of your awareness, source of your life, and source of your creation. And what is the objective of the gaslighter? Gaslighter's objective is to control you like you're a puppet, or like you're their favorite toy. So where have you given up? Where have you given up creating your life and actually outsourced it to someone else to be the source for you? So, and this is really where, everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, is like we invite abuse in our world. The second we start, and 2 seconds before that, we've already chosen abuse for ourselves. We abuse ourselves with deciding that we are smaller, that somebody knows better than us. What if it's not somebody knows better than us? What if it's you are the source of all knowing, and you know what you want to do? You know where you want to be, you know how to go about it, and all you're probably doing is not asking a question around it or not being a question. I'm I think inadvertently answering someone's question. Okay, how do you become so sure? What if you could ask a question around it? question empowers. So like, okay, so if you knew about creating your life, what would it be? And, again, following what Aradhana said, if you knew about money, creating money, what would it be? So what is it that you know that no one else on the planet knows? What if you could follow that energy? And what if you are willing to be aware of who is attempting to perpetrate? People can attempt to perpetrate abuse in your world, but you are the one who can make the choice whether to make it significant or whether to let it own you, or whether to let them even abuse you. So what energy, space, and consciousness can you be to be the space of infinite awareness? Okay, to be the space, to have the infinite awareness and infinite knowing, and actually no point of view about abuse. So you are actually aware of when somebody is attempting to abuse you. And what if that is amazing information too? What if that's not a wrongness? So when you buy the lies of this reality, you are already perpetrating abuse in your world and others. So what if that's not a wrongness? So everybody, you've decided abuse is a wrongness, and being victim is a wrongness. Could you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all nine shows. What if abuse was some people's choice of being? What if abuse was some people's way of being? And what if you could be aware of it and not let that have an impact in your life? How's that for empowerment? Everything that doesn't allow you to choose what's true for you, what works for you, would you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right or wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So, okay, so and another thing about abuse. So again, I would really like to invite all of you to ask yourself, what is abuse according to you? Everything that is. Or maybe I'll let you answer first and then we'll destroy and uncreate it all. What is and another thing about abuse that I really started to see was abuse starts to show up in your world when you are not acknowledging a potency that you're being. So if you could look at everywhere you think that you have faced abuse, and if you are having some patterns of abuse in your life, would you like to ask yourself, what is the potency there that I'm not acknowledging? Because when you start acknowledging the potency to stop abuse, the abuse story actually starts to change in your life. So what is the potency that you are being that you're not acknowledging? Where have you decided that yes?
Zoom call aa rahi hai.
Okay. So where have you decided that abuse is something? So has abuse ever killed you? Has it killed you yet? If it's not, and you're still here, that's probably because you are more potent than abuse. Right? So what is your potency? What is your potency around abuse that you are not acknowledging, that you are not willing to receive, that you're not willing to be? And what gift can that be to the planet? Everything that doesn't allow you to know, be, receive, perceive, and have that, own that, exponentialize that, will you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all nine shorts, boys and peons. So I think somebody is saying, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at some of the questions around.
We have a bunch of questions here.
Okay, good. Okay, I'll let you take them, Isha. Yes, please tell me the questions.
Okay. So it started with someone wanting to ask about physical abuse relating to children. If it is physically harming kids, their body, how do you tell them not to be at the effect of it?
Okay, so are you somewhere deciding that you know what's right for others? And I know that is very scandalizing reply on this matter. And trust me, I get that. I have been through abuse in my life too. And what if you could ask a different question around it? Okay. So what if you could ask a question around, if you see somebody who's getting physically abused, right? Ask the child, hey, what if you could have a conversation with a child? Acknowledge the fact that abuse is a choice. You don't have to necessarily tell that to the child, because the child is already caught up in a reality where he or she has got off their awareness already. What if you in your space could acknowledge that abuse is a choice? Abuse is a choice people make to, put an end to something. Okay. And then talk to the child and ask, hey, what else would you like to create in your life? Get the child into because what something that abuse does, especially for children, is it locks them up, right? And that's why the abuse keeps repeating in their life over and over again. So what if you could, with your questions, help the child, empower the child to get into the creative mode of their life, whatever the conversation may be about. Okay. And then ask questions around, what can that child, okay, so everything this is bringing up for everybody. Can you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all night shows, boys. Where can we go with this conversation? When I have dealt with, I spent about a year working with children who were sexually abused at age of 5, raped at age of 5 by their stepfathers, and they were beggars on the street. So, and I spent a year teaching them math, science, and getting their elder sisters who would have actually gone to different cities in the world or maybe in the country into prostitution if they did not get their 10 standard certificate. So there was a time in my life for an entire year I was teaching math and science and everything possible just to get kids to move from first grade to second grade and to get them to finish their 10th class. Okay, so one thing that I realized, and I kind of really walked into their world like, oh my God, these are victims of the society and everything. And what I saw about them was because they had already been in that home for like about 3-4 years. So they had already, so somewhere they probably made a different choice too, to step out of the story of abuse. And when I sat in class with these children and they were laughing and they were doing things that, that you see, they were behaving like brats. They were behaving, they were torturing me. They were like really, they were pulling my leg and everything. And they were like acting like really, normal kids. And that made me realize one more thing. If abuse is a choice, so is healing. And what if you could be that interesting point of view energy in that child's world and then see what shows up? Because what if one person choosing to not buy the lies of abuse has the potency to help the child or anybody look at, hey, there's a different possibility out there too. And this is where you want to be the energy of things, right? So even if you're not able to have a conversation, what if you, anywhere you hear a story of abuse, what if you could go into a space of interesting point of view that they're choosing this? View that they're choosing this. What else can they choose? What if you being that energy actually facilitates these people to make a different choice? I hope that helps.
That is.
Go ahead, Isha.
So there are 2 people asking around potency and strength. How do you find that as a strength? And can you give an example of that, the potency part?
I would really recommend buying the abuse CD and probably buying the abuse class, but really, because this is a much longer conversation, potency, what happens is, again, could you please acknowledge, if you have gone through abuse in your life, has it killed you? Is that not a potency that you're still choosing, making a choice to live, making a choice to sit on this call and having this conversation? How's that for potency? And what potency are you not acknowledging about people who have, so so can we do this one thing, for instance, this is on a level, can we, everywhere we are buying the lies of victimization around abuse, can we please destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all nine shows. But what if these lies of victimization is actually what? So it's kind of like this. A being chooses to take birth, yes? A being chooses an abusive family, or a being chooses something something that they are going to go through in that life. Then the being takes birth, being is, with a body and living in this reality, and abuse happens. There's a point where people, right before, so an abuse is perpetrated, an abuse has been chosen, or, or somewhere it has somewhere, there's been a stop that's put on it. But then the lies of this world start to attack the story of abuse. Okay. And what if that is you disempowering yourself? What if everywhere you're going into abuse of you, or, where you're judging yourself, oh my God, why did I put myself in that situation? Ask yourself, why did you? So who was it you were trying to protect? What was it you were trying to protect? And what was your potency around that? Ask yourself. So each one, what if instead of going, Shivam, where is potency in being abused? Instead of that, what if you could be like, okay, if there is universe, could you show me what that is in this situation? And what if each situation of abuse has a different potency around it? What if we could start, instead of going into, okay, is there potency, is there abuse, is there potency, is there abuse? What if we could just ask a question and see what shows up for you? Okay. So, and what if we did not have to go into, oh my God. And I know that right now we have newspapers filled with children being abused, children being raped, children killing and everything. What if the big one gift that we could give to them was, rather than going into the wrongness and solidifying this in everyone's world, what if at that time we could go, okay, what if there's nothing right or wrong about it? What if there's a different choice that's available? What if there's a different choice that's available for the perpetrators of abuse? What if there's a different choice available for those who have chosen abuse, have received abuse, even if they've died? What if that being can make a different choice? And what if you going into rightness and wrongness of abuse is what is probably keeping abuse locked in the place? And not you as such, but what if all of us are doing that? So would we want to be the first people to kind of go like, okay, if rightness and wrongness is keeping this whole abuse story locked in place, can we give it up now, please? For those of you who are saying yes, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, and really ask yourself, what if, and this is the place where you could be like, okay, if there is nothing right or wrong about this, what if that is what's going to open a different possibility for everyone else on the planet? So would you be the torchbearer of that different possibility? How do you deal with an abusive person on a daily basis at home? Run their bars. Introduce them to some kind of asking some questions around it. And be present, be with them, and have my point of view about it.
So there are more questions, Shivam. I'll just read them out to you.
Okay.
Is it that the victims are potent and this is being perceived by the abuser but not by the victim, and hence he abuses the victim? And
probably, yeah, it could be a control issue, and this is one of the things that Gary was talking about, is that there is some potency where so here's the thing, this conversation you really can go a step forward in your life with is like, if you get out of the rightness and wrongness of it. So again, everywhere you have made bought the stories of victimization. What if it's not the story of victimization? What if it's a story of potency that's showing up? Because if somewhere somebody has faced abuse or sexual abuse, or for that matter, like, okay, at the risk of sounding heartless or whatever, the whole Nirbhaya story, okay? How many people in the country actually woke up to that? Yes. So, and how many people actually went for the first time in India, rather, right? In all thousands of years of our history, people actually went, you know what? No, this is it. We're changing this. So did we have more people going into, no, we're changing this? Or did we have less people go into, okay, well, abuse, this is really sad. So we had more, right? So what if that being actually chose this experience to create a different possibility and create an awakening in the country and on the planet? So where would you not want to acknowledge that choice of that being? And everywhere, and this is really about, right? Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. So everywhere you think you have to fix abuse, right? So what if instead of wanting to fix abuse, you could ask, and I'm not talking about, hey, let abuse happen, okay? I'm really talking about what is a different possibility that we can create and facilitate on the planet around abuse, right? So everybody, you've decided that fixing abuse is the way to fix it. Has that worked? Has that worked? Trying to fix abuse, trying to punish abusers. I'm not saying like, no, let the abusers get off the hook. No, but trying to fix abuse story, has that worked in these thousands of years? So what if there's a different possibility, right? So what if you could ask a question around, okay, what is the potency of the one who's faced abuse? Everywhere I'm making the ones who have faced abuse victims, rather than what if you could be the first person who could acknowledge their potency, their courage?
Someone is also asking, instead of fixing, we should use our potency to get around it.
Well, so, and notice the energy around that. Aren't you trying to fix it again? Right? So what if abuse is choice, and the way to get to make the different choices to get out of the wrongness of your abuse and get into the strongness of you, and then make a different choice?
KG is asking 2 questions. I can't seem to let it go. What about the sexual offenses like rape being committed countrywide? Not talking on terms with them, and I acknowledge that potency of the abused, but what next?
Okay, so potency of the abused, you acknowledge that, right? Cool, and beautiful question. What next? What else is possible? So where are you making that question insignificant and important? What next is one of the strongest questions and greatest questions you could ask when you're trying to create a different possibility. So what next?
That is beautiful. Wow. I acknowledge that potency of the abuse. Okay, got it. He says, got it.
Right. So what else is possible? Like, I mean, this is where we want to create it. And I completely, this is not to invalidate people who are facing this. And I wouldn't be talking about my story if you know, I mean, I feel like if I can, so can others. And so can the world. Right? So where are you not acknowledging your potency to be the torchbearers of a different possibility for abuse on this planet? And everywhere you are disempowering yourself by buying the lies of this reality of rightness and wrongness and victimizations and oh, poor them. Is that working? And what if you guys could make a different choice and ask, what next? What else is possible?
Nishtha says, thank you, Shivam.
You're welcome.
So there's one more question, Shivam, which we, I think, missed out earlier.
Okay.
Vasudha, and she was, when she'd asked the question, the first question that she'd asked was, just give me a minute, what tools can we give to kids who are below 13 to deal with physical abuse at the hands of parents, or physical abuse in schools by bigger, older kids? Which you did speak about, but there's one more question that she had asked. So she was asking more in terms of when she speaks to a group of kids in school and talks to them about physical and sexual abuse. So she won't be meeting them daily, maybe just once. So what tools or perspective can she leave them with? With respect
your point of view about them being victims. No matter what it takes. Because when you go and talk to them as if they are victims, are you empowering them or are you disempowering them? Then we become kind of like a perpetrator of abuse ourselves, right? What if you could, so get your bars run, potpock all your judgments of abuse, potpock everywhere you have been abuser of children in any lifetime, potpock your points of views about the whole abuse stories on this planet. So do a lot of self-potpocking, okay? Before you go to talk to someone who has faced abuse. I'm just saying this from personal experience because this is what I do too. Okay, so when I'm dealing with a child who is like 12 years old, and then she's talking about, you know, at age of 5, she was raped regularly by her stepfather. And now she's like, Shivam auntie, I want to, and then she wants to have a boyfriend. She's 12. She likes boys. But she's afraid that, hey, it's like, I remember, I still keep thinking about the whole thing about, whatever I'm facing with my, she talks about like, okay, memories of her stepchild and stuff. So one thing that I do is like, oh my God, no matter what it takes, even if it kills me, for that child's sake, I am pock-pocking all my judgments about her being a victim, about judging this whole abuse story. And then I go talk to her. Maybe maybe I get my bars run or go run her bars and then ask her, hey, now what would you like to create in your life? Okay, get them get their motor running, really. It's like get them into a generative space of creating their life. Because more you get them into that, they start pulling away. This whole abuse story stops being the most significant thing in their life. The way this reality deals with abuse is by making it significant. And has that worked? What if you could get them out of significance by getting them to talk about creating their life? And then if somebody is facing that, physical abuse on a daily basis, talk to them. Maybe just listen to them. Be the energy of just listening, and don't undermine that energy of listening. What if you don't have to speak? What if you could just be the soundboard for these potent people, potent, beautiful children? And I wonder what awareness will pop up for them and you around that conversation.
Vasudha says, thank you so much, Shivam. Such an empowering energy you've showed. And iPhone says, it's amazing the way you are talking about creating possibilities.
Thank you so much. Thank you for receiving this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shivam. We now move on to the next speaker.
Thank you, Shivam. That was really awesome and so empowering. Very different perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Shivam, I really want to thank you for this conversation. I really just experienced something with my daughter, and I followed through just exactly the steps that you did. I had to work on myself to be able to help her, and boy, did it change her world and mine. The freedom that we have experienced after what the reality would consider a ghastly experience has blown out to be one of the most empowering spaces for both of us. It freed me of all the shackles around abuse, and it totally got her to know that she's this potent bloody being whose body is in control. She's in control of her body, and her body is so awesome that it kept giving her the awareness of what is right, what is wrong. So when it was happening to her, she knew that it was something wrong, and I used that as a point to tell her that, look how aware you were, and you survived it, more than survived it. And now what else is possible? And you look at her and you can't even fucking tell that she experienced anything close to that. So thank you so much for that, really. And I'm going to be very candid. If I didn't have the tools of access, I think I would have died maybe. I don't think I would have been able to blow this into something greater. But we both created something greater out of it. And I'm so fucking thankful for that. So thank you, Shivam. That was brilliant.
Thank you. And thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you.
Thank you. So, guys, it's my turn. Okay, what am I talking about? I've even forgotten my topic. I think it was being infinite with perceiving, knowing, being and receiving. Yeah. So, your bars start off with perceiving, knowing, being and receiving. If you're a humanoid, if you're aware, if you're an infinite being, you perceive, know, be and receive. And this reality functions from thoughts, feelings, emotions, sex, and no sex. So that's the bookish term. So what does it all really mean, right? So Aradhana gave us a little brief about thinking is stinking. Stick to that. If you're thinking, you are totally stinking. What you want to do is you want to perceive. You don't want to think, because you are not your body, okay? You think, that's your mind. You feel, that's your body, okay? You emote, and that's from the heart, which is again a part of your body. And then sex and no sex, which is part of your genitals, again, part of your body. What we're trying to get you to is that you are way bigger than this body. You're infinite. So there is perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving. And if you just get a sense of thinking versus perceiving, which one's lighter? Right? When we say I think versus I perceive. And you know, the difference between perceiving is so fleeting quick. It's a perception of what is possible, but it's not necessary that it will actualize. It's just a perception. And you are perceiving that all the time because you are tapping into so many energies the whole day as an infinite being. So those 100 ideas that come at you, the 100 things that you could do, the 100 things that you could address an issue, the 100 angles you could address an issue from, all of that is just perceiving, right? And when you perceive, then it's like, when you acknowledge that it's a perception, so many other doors open up, and you are with, and it's lightning quick. You perceive and it's gone. The problem comes when you make that perception a solidity, because perception is just fleeting. It's just, oh, that's an awareness. Great. Okay. Awesome. Okay. We come next to feeling. When you avoid an awareness, then it becomes a feeling. And I'm going to repeat this. When you avoid an awareness, it becomes a feeling, because your body is more willing to receive that than you are. So your body will now make it into a feeling and show it to you so that you're like, hey, you just missed this awareness. This feeling is an awareness that you just avoided, right? But what we go into is, I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling bad. And now your mind is going to try and find a story as to why you're feeling sad and bad. So now you're going to go into all the places that you've been feeling sad and bad, and then it'll become this big ball of, oh my God, I'm a lump of nothing. My life sucks. How does it get any better than that? And what else is possible? Seriously, okay? So that's what your mind does. So that's perceiving, and you're perceiving and you're knowing. Now, the higher harmonics of feeling is actually knowing. Have you ever just known, like, you just knew that this person is going to call you. You just knew that the driver is going to take a wrong turn. You just knew that the plane is not going to land on time, or your flight's going to get delayed. Did you just know? I mean, did you even have to ask anybody for a second opinion at that time? You just knew in your gut. That's knowing, okay? As an infinite being, you know. You don't feel, you just know. Right? So, and when you function from perceiving and knowing, greater possibilities become available to you versus from thinking and feeling, which just keeps you rotating in the finite possibilities according to this reality, according to what is available in this reality. But as an infinite being, you can create outside this reality, a greater reality, a reality that you create every moment with every choice that you make. And that's going to be different for all of us. And every time we choose to perceive and know and then follow that awareness and create greater, we create a different planet, all on our own patches of this earth. That your 100 square meter would have a very different energy than the other 100 square meter. But it is creating greater. And you creating greater plus another one creating greater plus one creating greater equals to just a greater planet, okay? And then we come to, so we have thoughts, feelings, emotions. Okay, great. Emotions are the way we try to prove we care instead of just caring. Because do you have to prove that you're a woman? For all of those on the call who are women, do you have to prove that you're a man? You just know, right? You don't have to feel like a woman, you just know you're a woman. You don't have to feel like a man, you just know you're a man, right? Every time you go to emotions, it's about proving. When we take all that intensity and density around love, around caring, it's only because we don't believe it ourselves that we care or we love. If you knew, I don't know how, I mean, a lot of us are mothers on this call, but most of us just know that we love our children. We don't have to do anything to prove it. At least not right in the beginning, till we are told that we don't care for our children or we're not there, when we start buying all the stupidities of this reality. You just know. But when you use emotions, and very smartly, most of us use our emotions to manipulate. Okay. The higher harmonics of emotion is being. What if you were just being? And it's not about being, like Aradhana said, being money. What does being money mean? I can't even explain that to you because it doesn't have a quantitative description. It's just being. And that's different for me. It's different for her. It's going to be different for you, depending on what money means to you. What is being to you? And that's so original to you because you are unique unto yourself. I can't be you and you can't be me, right? And you know what? Before I found, yeah, sorry.
Sorry. Someone is
No, please
asking,
go ahead.
how does one believe?
But to what context? What do you mean by how does one believe? Believe in what? I would rather use the word trust instead of believe. Would you be willing to trust you? So go back to a time, even if it has happened once in your life, when you said something will occur and it did, or something will not occur and it didn't.
Believe that we are caring is what this person has said.
Okay. So what does caring mean to you? For me, caring is just being an allowance. When I care, I'm an allowance of everything that the other person is, including if they're being an asshole. No point of view. That's caring. You allow them to choose for them. That's caring. But you hold the space for them. So if they need you, you still have their back.
How does one believe in them, in their potential and in their potency to manifest?
All right, so we're not going to talk about manifesting because manifesting is not what infinite beings do. We actualize. We create and we physically actualize. Manifesting is just how that thing can happen and not that it will actually happen or get created or get actualized, right? Now, I want to go back to how does one believe in themselves, if that's the question, in themselves and in their potential. Look, it's a bummer in this reality. None of us are brought up to be told that, you're fabulous and you can create anything and you can do anything. Yes, we're told that as little children that, you know what, babe, you can do anything, but you know what, just become a doctor, please. If you really want to be a success, please become an engineer or become a doctor, or you know what, you can become anything, but only after you get your degree. So many conditions are put on us for becoming something. So we're told that yes, you have the power, and then somebody tries to control that, right? So we're not told. So unfortunately, it's a practice that you'll have to do. It's something that you'll have to choose, that from today onwards, I'm willing to explore my potentials. I'm willing to see the gift I am. And I don't even have to know what the gift is. That's the beauty of access. You ask. I ask the universe every damn day of my life, can you show the gift to me? And when it shows up, say thank you and bloody step into it. Have the guts to step into it. Own it. And go, whoa, okay. And you know what? It's not something that you've decided it is. It's not like I suddenly overnight become a painter or a musician or an artist and I have these, stadiums full of people listening to me. No, it is when it could be as simple as when when my daughter comes to me and says, God, I want to be as beautiful as you are. Oh, okay, cool. That's a gift. Let's step into that. Or someone says, oh, I'm so touched by your kindness. Oh, cool. Let's step into that. Just acknowledge it when it comes. Don't deny it. Don't go into, no. That's another thing. Huh? We are not taught to receive, which is our next part. And before we move into that, literally it is something, the access tools work 200%, but you have to use them. Knowing them is just one part. You have to use them. You have to breathe them. Like Aradhana said, breathe in money, breathe in the bloody tools till you become it. Clear, ask questions, do whatever it takes till you become it, guys. And very soon when you become it, you start creating things at the snap of a finger, literally that fast. You perceive it and it occurs. You perceive it and you create it. You perceive it and it actualizes. You're aware of something, you say yes to it, and a whole world opens up to you. But you've got to get there because, you have to clear those layers, the layers of doubt, the layers of I'm not good enough. And we've all come into access with that. You're not alone. We've all been there. And there are times when we go through it even now. So trusting yourself is knowing, choosing that if I trust myself, then there are certain things I will never do, and there are certain things I will always do. Trust that. It doesn't matter whether the world makes you wrong or right for it. You be you. That's trusting you. Trusting me is, I know I'm not going to kill anybody unless absolutely required. I'll give them 3 chances. So I will trust that. It's after 3 chances, then it's a different ball game altogether. You know.
Okay, someone is saying, for me, it is, I have to kill myself to care. I mean, be anything it requires to prove that I care.
Right. So how much of your being has been invalidated from when you were a little child? How much did you have to prove yourself from when you were a little child? Would you be willing to destroy and uncreate that? And would you be willing to bring yourself up like you should have been brought up? Because you're not a little child anymore. It's gone. How about you taking care of you the way you should have been taken care of? How about you telling yourself, hey, I care and I don't have to prove it anymore. Everything that brought up or let down, can you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. How about you telling yourself that, okay, right now I'm feeling a little doubtful about myself, but you know what? I'm not going down that road for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to say, no, I know I care. For the next 10 minutes, pock and pot any shit that comes up. And after 10 minutes, go, hey, I like this. Let's do it for 10 more minutes. That's all it takes. Just 10 minutes. Maybe 2 to begin with. Yeah? Cool. So,
there are more questions.
Yeah.
Somebody, Vasudha wants to know, why would I wish to have someone's back if they are mean and unkind?
Okay. So, there's a difference between an awareness that someone is mean and unkind, and then there is a judgment. So where are you functioning from? If it's an awareness, it usually doesn't stick to you, and it doesn't matter whether they're being mean or unkind. You can continue being you. You can continue being you. So as an infinite being, would it matter whether someone was being mean or unkind? I mean, as an infinite being, would it matter if someone was choosing to be mean and unkind if it is your very nature to have people's back? You do that anyway. And just perceive, if you chose to have the back of someone who's mean and unkind, wouldn't that change their reality? Because nobody wants to have their back anyway. And that's this reality. But you can only do that if you're not under their effect. And the only way you can't be under their effect is if you pock and pod maybe your oaths and vows with them, if they're getting under your skin, or what mean and unkindness really means to you, or everywhere you've been mean and unkind and have worked through it. Would you be willing to be that inspiration? No, all of us are here with gifts. I don't think anyone gets into access with like having no problems at all, except Aradhna, I think. Sorry. But really, literally, so if you work through something and you notice that in someone else, it's only because you've either been that, you know the energy of that, and if you've worked through it, who else better than you to have their backs? Because you can change, so can they. And then if they choose not to change, that's also all right. It's an interesting point of view. It's their choice. The idea is just to be you. And if you don't want to have their back, that's cool too, as long as you're not killing yourself over it. It's just a choice. That's just a choice. Okay? Does that help, Vasudha? I mean, cool. I can see the other question, which is also, how am I controlling the other when I'm hogging, when the feeling of sadness arises? So here's the interesting thing about being victims. When we are sad, so first, you are so potent that your energy can literally bring down the whole house or bring it up. Would you just acknowledge it? All you people on this call, you have a level of potency. If you've not acknowledged it, acknowledge it today. You being sad can bring down the entire house. And if that's not controlling, I don't know what is. Because everyone is either running around trying to please you, or they are like trying to resist you but they are affected. And there is this whole, it's not part of my topic, but there is this whole conversation about being a victim, which, Shivam touched upon, that, the victim is actually the victimizer, because then they use that for the rest of their life, not to create their lives if they don't get out of that victimhood. And they have everyone twirling around their little fingers. They command everyone with their little finger because everyone is so petrified of that space that they go into. When you are being victim, you're actually being a victimizer. You're controlling the whole show. If you would just acknowledge it, then controlling and potency can become a choice, and you don't have to buy into the point of view that you need to be a victim. All right? You can still manipulate and have lots of fun with it. Okay?
KG says, wow, thank you for that, Sangi.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome.
Vasudha says, wow, thank you so much, Sangeeta, for so many possibilities. And it was so light when you said that.
Thank you, Vasudha, for receiving that, which takes us to receiving the higher harmonics of sex and no sex. Perfect. So in this reality, the people who we will have sex with, will have copulation with, is who we will receive from. And the people who we've decided we will never have sex with, we can never receive anything from them, not even their money. And sex and no sex is based on judgment, okay? This is what happens. Two people get married, they love each other, and then they start hating each other. They have so many judgments of each other as they live together that they have so many judgments, and all judgments are barriers. And when we have barriers, we cannot receive. And in this reality, not receiving means not having sex. But the higher harmonics of sex and no sex is receiving, and receiving is being able to receive all energy. Good, bad, ugly, with no point of view. It just means you're willing to receive all awarenesses. When you're willing to receive all information, then you can make an informed choice. If you're not willing to receive, let's say someone is out to get you and you're not willing to receive that because that person is your best friend, and then that person anyway gets you, and you just fall into shambles because you're like, how could he do that to me? He's my best friend, and your whole world falls apart. But if you're willing to receive everything, then you'd know that this person is out to get me, and then it becomes a choice. You know, sometimes I am very aware when I'm being manipulated, and I still give in because it's so much fun, because I'm doing it from that space of choice. And then times again, when I'm willing to receive all information, it allows me to have the presence of mind to do whatever it takes to get out of that situation. With no point of view, you're just doing whatever is required at that moment. Okay? And that is available to you as an infinite being. When you stop pretending that you're just this body and you're finite and all you're here for is to fix problems, you perceive, know, be, and receive so that you can create greater. You're not here to fix problems, guys. You're here to create greater. Really. And when you focus on perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving, and you start creating greater, take all the focus. Take one area of your life that you're really trying to change and it's just not bloody changing. You've done everything. Stop. Take a breather. Don't try to change it. Just receive it for what it is. And ask yourself, if this wasn't so, if I didn't have this issue, if this wasn't an issue, if I wasn't making this an issue, what would I choose in my life? What would I choose to create? And put your entire energy into creating that. I promise you that issue would dissipate on its own. You won't have to do anything. Okay? You're not here to fix problems. You're here to create greater. So go on, perceive, know, be, and receive. Stop the thinking and feeling. And what was it? Emotions and the sex and no sex. I haven't done it in such a long time. So how does it get any better than this, and what else is possible? Guys, and I really mean it. I used to be this intense person who had to feel everything so much that it would break my body down. So this space is far greater. Trust me. Most of us choose emotions to feel real, you know, because we don't even feel real. We don't even know how to acknowledge ourselves. We don't even know how to acknowledge our being. We associate so much with the body. And, you know, it's crazy because as little children, and even now in moments, no matter how old you are, you go into those spaces where you're like, fuck, something more is possible. I don't know how to get there, but it is possible. But you know what? Because you're in access, it's okay not to know. You just have to ask a question. What would it take? What is available to me? What choices do I have? What else is possible? How does it get any better? If you knew it, you would have done it already, because that's your very nature, guys. All of us. It's our very nature to choose greater. We totally naturally gravitate to higher, more, greater. Right? The only problem is when we get stuck in our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, that we forget that we are bigger. We are bigger than any problem. We are bigger than anything that we made an issue in our life. We are bigger than whatever we've decided is limiting us. All you have to do is expand and tap into that infinite being. And for the longest time, I didn't even know what that really is like. And that's fine. I asked every day, universe, can you show me what being infinite is? Cool. And it showed me. If I don't know what something is, because I've never tapped into it, and that's cool. I've asked questions like, universe, can you show me what gratitude is? And it did. I was crazy. I love my gratitude story, and I know we're running out of time, but I'd love to close it with this. Ask a question and just follow the awareness. So I was asking, I found myself as just, when you run your bars and you do clearings and thing, your mind kind of gets a little more present with you, and you get to see a lot of where you're functioning from and how you're functioning. So you just become a little more present with that. And I was like, dude, I say a lot of thank yous, but I don't know what gratitude is. I don't know what that is. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like anything. Even when I say thank you, it doesn't feel like anything, right? Of course, I'm not supposed to feel, I'm supposed to sense, but I'm just giving you the real story. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to ask the universe to show me what gratitude is. So I'm asking, and on the third day of my hey, universe, can you show me what gratitude is? I get onto my treadmill and I'm just going for this little nice walk, and I put on my MP3 player, and I'm just listening to music and I'm walking, and my husband comes along and he fixes the MP3 player in my ear and tightens the band. So now it's suddenly more comfortable, and it's like, wow, I can jog faster because I'm not afraid that it's falling off. I'm so comfortable. And I look at him and I just get this huge flash of all the little things that he does for me to make my life comfortable. And I started crying while I was walking on that treadmill. I love this story because it is exactly how it happened. I just started bawling, and he's like, I only fixed your MP3 player. I'm sorry, I won't touch it. And I'm like, no, that's not why I'm crying, because it just hit me as a wave that this is gratitude. Oh, this is gratitude. And once you get it, you never forget it. Never. So keep asking, guys. You're way bigger than anything you've made bigger than you. So everything you've made bigger than you, everything you've made unchangeable, everything you've made is a source of frustration. Would you be willing to destroy and uncreate that? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POC, all 9 shots, boys, and beyonds. And would you be willing to use it to your advantage and use it as a stepping stone to more? Like, what if that was the gift? What if this very thing that you've allowed to limit yourself pushes you against the wall till you say, no more. That's it. This changes. And it changes. It's just a choice.
Vasudha says, wow, thank you for that story. Shiva missing, so beautiful. Vindhya says, and so simple. Universe, could you show me? I love this tool. Thank you. Vindhya says, I love that story. And Bhakti Benji is saying, hi Sangeeta, seeing you after Vellum and now Access. Amazing. What else is possible?
I'm so glad to see you, Sunena. Every time I see you in classes, I'm like, there's a Vellumite. Yo! What would it take for more Vellumites to join us? How does it get any better than this, and what else is possible? Hey guys, that's my little thing on perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving. And if you want more information, hit a foundation class or a COP, get into a bars class if you haven't, or do it again. And all of us here give all those classes, and you want more meat, get in touch with us. Yes, we're very happy to help you.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta.
You're most welcome, sweet.
Guys, such a huge contribution to this call and to all of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Isha.
This has been so phenomenal. Thank you so much. It's truly been such a huge gift. Thank you.
Thank you to you both for inviting us and giving us this space. We love you guys. It was amazing.
We love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sangeeta.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Awesome.
Else who's still there?
Thank you, everyone.
If you can, if you'd like to write into us, ask some questions, whatever other topics you'd like us to cover, and just feel free to just. Isha, do you have the email ID? Access
yes, it's Access Consciousness India. 1 second, I'll give it to you.
So she'll just type it in here. So just feel free to write in. Let us know what are the questions you have, and if there are any other topics you'd like us to cover. And yeah, we'll be happy to oblige.
Yeah. Smriti, can I just add something?
Yeah.
I want to tell everyone on this call that please share it with your friends for the simple reason, and tell them to write into us, because I don't know any other modality that is as generous as Access. that reaches out to you so that it can assist you to move out of your stuck places with the various free blogs, free posts, free calls, free Zooms. Please take advantage, guys. You know, these ladies are working they're having fun, but they're working really hard to get this to all of us. So guys, please try and be on as many calls, and please invite all your friends, because your energy is what allows us to go even further in our facilitations. You have no idea what a gift you guys are. So if you just acknowledge that, and please just get on and get everyone on, you know.
Sangeeta.
Yes. Hi, Bharti.
How are you, sweetie? I mean, I truly acknowledge that what contribution you are to me, and in fact, all of you beautiful beings here, whether it's Shivam, whether it's Isha, whether it's Aradhana, all of you. Love you guys. It was a fantabulous evening today.
Thank you, Bharti.
Thank you so much.
Yay.
Thank you, all of you. So, Isha,
yes, absolutely. It's india@accessconsciousnessmail.com. There we go. Yes, Reena, I will send the recording out.
Cool. See you then. Bye-bye.
See you guys next month.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
See you all. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Have a great night. Good night.